Hey everyone, Zav here. I'm playing on Elden Ring, and just to explain what this video is, I've been playing Elden Ring for about 20 hours now, and I'm just learning the movements and different key bindings and ways to attack and things like that. And on this guide, first of all, just to let everyone know, this is going to be focused on PC usage. There's a lot of differences with the keys. I watch a lot of videos out there, and basically they explain using Xbox or PlayStation. I never owned an Xbox or PlayStation. I've always played just computer games ever since I stopped playing Atari. When I was a young kid. So yeah, like I said, I really want to explain on using a computer. I don't see a lot of videos out there on that. Also, another thing about this guide. I see a lot of people going over character settings and stats, and then doing things such as being able to run through the map. You get your horse, and you can run over here and get this item, run over there, get that item, and all of a sudden, you're at the beginning of the game, but you have these real powerful items. I kind of consider that as a little bit cheaty. I don't prefer doing that. Um, Although I don't really consider it cheating actually, because anything you can do in the game, if the game lets you do it, then it's not really cheating. As long as you don't use some kind of outside code or something like that for it. So, the game lets you do that. Sure, you can run past enemies and pick things up. What I actually prefer doing, the play style that I have, I like to go through an area and totally farm it, and then over level my character to where, say, I try going into a cave or a dungeon and it's too powerful for me. Okay, I'll stay in that area and I'll farm some more, I'll level up some more, and then I'll try that dungeon again or the cave or whatever. Normally, there's also optional, like I can try this cave or this cave or this cave, and I try, try each one of them. Again, if they're too powerful, okay, I need to level up some more, and then I go back through and I just keep cycling through until I find a doorway of progression. That's really the way I like to do it. The way I see it in my mind, until I go through a cave or dungeon and kill every single thing in that cave or dungeon and check every nook or cranny, it's not completed. Once I have killed everything and looked everywhere, now that dungeon or cave is completed, unless, of course, there's a change in the game later. I know this game does change the elements of things so that you can go back to them later, and they're different. That's something a little bit different, but I'm just talking as far as progression through. Um, so, having said all that, I'm going to get into this. One thing I did notice, just to let people know, I just noticed it today. I thought, well, I want to play Elden Ring offline, which I'm doing that until I really learn the game. And I figure multiplayer, okay, maybe later on I'll look into that. But first, I'm going to learn the game playing just not online. So you can see in the system here, online I'm playing launch setting is offline. But I did notice I load this game playing Steam, and I tried loading Steam on the offline version of Steam, and what happens is it says it can't sync with the saved game and settings, and you may lose your progression. So even though I'm playing offline, I do still have to have Wi-Fi or internet connection and load Steam up, being online with Steam, and then I can go into Elden Ring with Elden Ring being offline. So the next thing I want to talk about, I did make a video where one thing I talked about was how the movement on this game is different than most games I'm used to, where forward still moves forward. That's a normal thing. But most games, when I press the S key to go back, what my character actually does is goes back. And if I move left and right, he strafes left and right instead of this. And my problem is, say this was an enemy right here, and I want to. In other games, what I do is I move my mouse like this while I'm going sideways, and I can strafe around the enemy. Well, I got an answer to that. Real quick. Let me go find something I can demonstrate this on, and I'll be right back. All right, so I got this turtle here. He's friendly. He's not going to attack me or anything, and he moves real slow. So it's a good thing to explain something on. So I'm going to lock on, and I'll go over key bindings in just a little bit. And see that what locking on lets me do is when I move the S key, it does actually move backwards. I can tumble. Now it is kind of odd that instead of tumbling backwards, he actually faces backwards and tumbles, but it's still kind of a back tumble. But I can tumble left and right, which is real cool, and I can also strafe around him, kind of. Now, see that's a little bit of a problem. When I'm locked on, I try strafing around something, and I can kind of, but what I noticed is, like, if I don't press forward while I strafe around him, I actually go kind of in a spiral and I go further and further away from him. And eventually, what happened there just a minute ago is it unlocked from him. So I really don't like that too much to actually strafe around him. I gotta kind of balance out going forward. I can't go forward and to the left too much because then it goes in at a spiral. So I gotta balance, I just gotta kind of go in once in a while like this. Another thing I don't like about being locked on is right now I'm moving my mouse around and it doesn't move my character any. It doesn't, in other games I can go like this and forward and backwards, yes, but if I move my mouse to the right, then my character would actually look to the right. I can't do that while I'm locked on. So it's really a matter of, I'm going to have to get used to this new movement. As far as locking on, I think I'll just use that for a bow because it makes it really limited as far as movement, what you can do when you're locked on. And you're supposed to be able to switch by moving the mouse around, and you can, but it's a little bit wonky. It doesn't really react very well. Kind of odd trying to change. And like right now, I'm moving my mouse to the left, and there's another guy that's over here right above my head. When I'm here locked on, I move to the left, nothing's happening. I'm moving to the left, and nothing's happening. I can't even look up and down. Move my mouse up and down, left and right, nothing happens. So I think I'll get used to not being locked on. Um, Unless, of course, I have a bow. Then I think locking on would be good. Uh, that way, I could. There's a way you can. Whoop! I don't want to do that. Okay, and I don't like that either. I can't unequip an arrow. All right, just another thing I just learned. Um, Anyways, getting back to this. So yeah, the focus, the move, focus, not focused. Um, I think I'm gonna get used to it. Not focused. That way I can tumble in different directions. The thing I really have to watch is when I'm fighting an enemy, and I go left, it's actually putting my left shoulder to the enemy rather than staying facing towards the enemy. So if I have my shield up and I move left, well, my shield ain't going to help me very much. So yeah, that's something I just have to learn. I also do want to mention, not only on PC, on your keys, you got forward and back, left and right, but you can press two keys at one time to go in a diagonal motion. Um, so it is 8 directions of movement, even on a PC. Um, so the next thing I want to talk about is, let me just go back to this church here real quick because there's a couple things I'm going to explain on weight next. It's kind of strange how this game works on weight. Some of it really doesn't make sense too much to me. Um, so the thing is, if I bring up my menu and I go to stats, you can see here equipment load 36 of 52.9 medium load. Um, if your equipment load is more than 70% of your max, then instead of having a medium load, you'll have a heavy load. And what that'll do is it'll make you run slower, jump less, your tumbles will be a slow tumble. You actually won't be invulnerable to attacks. Normally, like on a medium, equipment load. There's a certain part of this tumble, not the whole entire thing, but basically while you're in the middle of the tumble, if an enemy strikes at you, it won't hit because you're in the tumble. If you're doing a heavy load, if you have a heavy load and you try tumbling, you won't get that invulnerability. It'll be a slow tumble and no invulnerability. So you want to make sure this equipment load is at least medium. Now, light would be great if you're playing maybe like a mage character or something like that. But if you got armor and sword and shield and stuff like that, you're probably going to be a medium load. Now those of you that I don't know if you're real good at math or not, just to figure this out, um, if you are on a heavy load with the items that you want equipped, the easy way to figure out what you want to raise your endurance, I believe it's endurance, during a level up, you raise your endurance, it'll raise your maximum load to make it from a heavy load to a medium load. If, like, let's say the equipment I have, this is the setup I want to have, um, but I want to be on a medium load with this setup. What you do is go to stats, the first number, divide it by 7, and then multiply by 10, and that's the amount you want this number to be. And that's all you got to do. Now, on weight, it is kind of strange, where items. Let me take a look at something and show one thing first. Uh, I have all these crafting materials here, um, in my inventory. Okay, and if you look at my stats, you see that it's 36.0. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rest here at the site of grace, and I'm going to go to sort chest. I'm going to go to my crafting materials. I'm going to click on this and down and OK. I'm just going to transfer all these in. Whoops. And you would think that doing this would decrease my weight. I'm not going to do it for all of them, but I'm going to do a good number. Let's see, I got 10 of these and 10 of these. Okay, so I transferred some things. I don't really think there's any other stuff I want to or can transfer. Okay, good. So I got all of them transferred to the chest, right? So I exit out of this. I'm gonna hit Q to go back, Q to go back, and just to verify, I'm gonna run away from there. I'm gonna look at my inventory, and yeah, okay, it transferred a whole bunch of them. But if you notice on stats, I'm still at 36.0. So it's odd that in my inventory, these crafting materials actually weigh nothing. So what I can do is while I'm out and about and I'm getting things like these flowers and all that, like right here, I can pick up and carry as many as I want, and it will not affect my equipment load. Um, so I keep getting them, and what I'm figuring for future in the game is that once I have too many, because there's some things you can see, like on this, on most things, if I hold the mouse over this, you can see over on the side it says number held and number stored. Um, so like this, number held is 1 of 999, and stored is 0 of 999. I was actually carrying 999 of these and I picked up another one, it's going to send it straight to my storage box. Um, and what I'm thinking later on in the game, if I have so many that it transfers some to the storage box, then it's time for me to start selling. Um, Other than that, normally I'm going to hold on to whatever I collect because, like I said, it doesn't affect my weight. Now, another thing I do want to point out that I thought was really kind of strange the way this does it. Again, you can see in my inventory, I don't have those things I put in the storage box. But let me show you one thing. I noticed if you go to a site of grace and I rest and then I exit, what's weird is I go to my inventory and look at this. It put everything back. So like if say I did want to carry this in my storage box at the site of grace, every single time I rested at the site of grace, I would have to transfer everything into it. Um, So not only items in your inventory, but I'm going to go equipment and I'm going to offload the shield and I'm going to exit out of that and I'm going to put the shield in the chest. Shield, get used to this. I'm going to go over key bindings in a little bit. There we go. And you do have to, it's kind of odd when you're cycling through and then you go back. You just, when you go to a page here, go down and then over. So I'm going to transfer that over. So the shield is now in my box or chest or whatever they call it. And I'm going to verify that. I'm going to go inventory and let's see, shields. Yes, definitely the shield is in the box. But stats. Now, the 32.5, okay, now it's 32.5. You would think maybe that's because I put it in the box. But the thing is, 32.5, I rest here. I back out of that. And now, in my inventory. Now, see, that's strange. There's another thing. I keep learning this game. So there's some things like crafting recipes, they instantly come out of your box, and other things, they don't. So I'm going to go into the chest. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did figure that out. Things like crafting materials, they automatically come out of the chest. But other things like weapons, ashes of war, things like that. I put them into my chest, and they do stay in the chest. So some items stay in the chest, some items don't. That's something I'm still kind of getting used to. So I'm gonna press F here, switch to that. I'm gonna transfer that, switch back to my inventory. Now I put the shield on me from my chest. You would think that that makes my weight higher, that it brought it back to what it was. But if I look, stats, it's still only 32.5. The shield does not count towards my weight, even though it's in my inventory. Okay. Um, the only time that a shield or anything else adds to your inventory is actually when you have it equipped. These things equipped, they add to your weight, and not all of them. To show you what I mean on that, I'm gonna equip that. Let's say these arrows, I got 999 arrows. So let me check my weight. It's back to 36 because I put the shield basically what I consider at the ready. It's not being in my inventory that affects my equipment load. It's when I have the shield at the ready, actually loaded in this equipment tab, and it's ready for me to bring it up as a selectional, torch or shield. That is what adds to my weight. But as another thing too, like I said, I'm at 36.0 and I go to equipment and I have almost 100 arrows at the ready for when I put the bow in my hand. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click this to deselect it. I'm going to go back. I can see the arrows are not selected anymore. Go back. Stats. I'm still 36.0. I'm carrying 100 arrows at the ready for my bow, and it adds none to my weight. Same thing goes with like these daggers. Okay, anything down here. I can offload all of this stuff. I'm going to offload the daggers. Select the daggers instead of select. Now, if you select something else, let's say I go down here and I selected this, and then I select something like this pot here that I can throw. It's like a bomb. It would put that bomb where the daggers are, and then it would actually put the daggers where the bomb is. It kind of rotates them out. But let's say I offload the daggers. I have 40 of them, and I go back to stats. I'm still at 36.0. The only thing that really counts towards your weight is like swords, bows, shields, torches, and your armor. And I don't even think this does. Let me unselect that. Like I said, this still thinks, yep, see, actually that does count a little bit towards your weight. Um, so yeah, it's any of your weapons, not the ammunition, any of your 3 weapons and 3 left-hand things, and your armor and your talismans. That's the only things that actually count towards your weight. So if you're not really able to carry a certain load out without it being a medium load, what you want to do is go into your equipment and do something like, okay, take the bow out. And now that the bow's out, I'm at a lighter load. Okay, maybe that would make me a medium load rather than a heavy load. And while I'm playing the game, okay, if I want the bow, I actually have to go equipment, click, bow, out, and then I can switch to it. So yeah, it would definitely be a much slower process. Um, but what I did, like when I didn't have enough weight to carry uh, the sword, bow, and shield, basically what I did is I went into my equipment and I offloaded the shield, and then I just used the sword as two-handed. And I just didn't have a shield. I can still block with the sword, not quite as effective as the shield, but I have the torch, the torch available, the bow. Um, Before I had the bow, I was able to carry the torch, sword, shield. It's just as you play the game. Obviously, you have different items. As you level up, then you can carry more. So I leveled up. Um, I did add to my endurance. I believe it was endurance. Yeah, pretty sure. And it got my maximum up to enough where I was able to go back into equipment, and now I can have the sword, bow, torch, and shield all at the ready. Um, because arrows don't count towards the weight, and because daggers don't count towards the weight, I just went ahead and you can see over here number held, daggers 40 of 40. It's the most I can hold. It doesn't count towards my weight. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Um, so I think that kind of explains pretty much all I can think of on weapons. Um, or excuse me, on weight. I also noticed over in this pouch, things that you put in there, they act just like these other things down here. They don't add towards the weight. Um, I do want to explain one other thing real quick. A lot of times over here, to get the um, the runes down in the bottom right, I can't really, I don't know of a good way to bring up a pointer for it, but the runes down in the bottom right, you can see I have 184. Um, they're used to
It's
buy
you
and
again.
sell things,
Always a
or to
pleasure.
level up. Um,
Care to purchase anything?
so if I go to purchase something or sell, you can see the cost of it right down here, however many it costs. And here up here, I can see how many I have. I go back, if I sell, I can sell things. But there is one thing I wanted to show. So the only way I can get runes from these items is to actually sell them to a vendor. Um,
Goodbye
but
for
I'm gonna
now.
get one special thing and show you guys once I find one. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I was looking for was one of these skulls here. When you see these skulls with the flaming eyes and everything, you can bust them open by either hitting them with your sword, or you can tumble on them, or you can run over them with your horse. Many ways to open them up. I think probably just tumbling on them is the easiest way. And when you pick them up, you pick up a golden rune. Now these golden runes, be right back in a second. Okay, so you can go up to a vendor,
What is
and
it?
what you can do is
Still going to purchase something?
these golden runes, you can sell them for 200 runes. But I also found out, because this is tools rather than crafting materials or some other thing, um, the reason that it puts them in
Goodbye
tools,
for now.
because instead of selling them to a vendor, if you decide to, what you can do is go into your inventory, and you can just actually right click on that, and you can use. And what it'll do when you use that is, now if you notice at the bottom right, my runes are 384. It gives me the 200 as well. So I don't have to go see a vendor to get the runes from a golden rune. Also, another way of getting runes is when you kill enemies. I think there's some other things that may give you runes for doing certain things. Um, just to let you know, if you ever notice where the leaves are falling from this Erd tree or whatever it is, and it makes like a glow on you. You'll see like these little glowing streaks of yellow on your body that are vertical. I don't have it right now. I didn't really record it. But if you see that, up at the top left next to where that box is, right under my stat bars, you'll also see this little icon. Looks actually just like this. And what that does is it's just like this gold picked foul foot. It boosts rune acquisition for a time. Um, so when you see that effect, yeah, the runes you get off of killing enemies and all that, you get more. Also, if you ever see enemies with golden, glowing eyes, you'll get more runes from them than you normally would. Uh, so let's see, thinking about the next thing. Okay, so the next thing, like I said, I do have this. I'm playing this game on PC, and I set it up where the key bindings. Oh, in fact, there is the effect I was just talking about, and you can see up at the top left. You see that little icon looks like the little hand, the four-footed claw thing. So if I go out and kill an enemy, I'll get more runes than I normally would from him. Now, one thing I haven't really tested out, but I would assume that is not. If I used this right now, I don't think it's going to stack on top of the one that was just up there for a second. I wonder if that's just, I wonder if I can run down those leaves and go to a certain area and have it affect me. Maybe it just like happens in certain areas and rotates around. I don't know. Um, but anyways, getting back to what I was saying, so playing on PC, one of the things I've had to do, just like every game I play, is I go into the system, and I had to go to the keyboard and mouse right here. Now, do make sure, when you're playing on PC, you have this one option. Oh, let me find it here real quick. Oh yeah, right here on sound and display. Make sure your device for on-screen prompts is set to keyboard and mouse, definitely. But on my key bindings, I'm going to go through the key bindings, but for showing what I did, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to switch to another program real quick and explain out why I chose what I did. Um, but first of all, what I did is I wrote down every single line on this. Um, Now there's a few like move camera, change target up, and all that. These are not assigned. It's basically mouse movement. So of course I ain't gonna assign anything to those. Um, but I wrote all these down, and what I did is I separated it into a list. Um, the first thing is WSAD. Everyone's used to that as far as keyboard for moving forward, backwards, left, and right. WSAD. Yeah, okay. Um, but everything else, movement control, backstep, jump, crouch, what I did is I thought about each one like jumping. Do I want to have my fingers on the four movement keys and be able to jump at the same time? And obviously, for like jump, yes, the answer is I do want to be able to jump and move in any one of the four directions. Some things, such as crouch, I don't need to crouch and be able to move in all four directions at the same time. So I can move one of my fingers from a movement key to the crouch key to activate crouch and then back to the movement key. Whereas I don't want to move any one of my three fingers from the movement keys to jump and then back to the movement key. So, like I said, I'm going to explain this a little different. I'm going to show you guys a picture I made that easily explains this. Okay, so what I did, I'm playing on Lenovo Legion Slim 7. So I downloaded a picture of how the keyboard's laid out to explain this out. Um, and what I do, I always have the heel of my hand right over here, and I'm holding with my ring finger on the A, my middle finger on the W, my index finger on the D. And to explain out why I chose what keys I did, I have this other picture. Whoops, uh, this one here. Um, so you can see um, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, uh, and I always rest my left pinky on the shift key and my left thumb on the space bar. And then, of course, I have the mouse, left mouse button, right mouse button, and I do have a side mouse button. Um, so obviously, move forward, move back. My middle finger can move down to move backwards. That's pretty easy shift right here. Um, and of course, left mouse button is always attack. I'm really used to that. So then I had run and roll was a very important thing. I wanted to be able to run and roll while keeping these three fingers on the movement keys. Using skill, again, same thing. Guarding, walking. If I'm walking, I want to be able to move any direction. Jumping and strong attack. Um, so I thought about, okay, between guard, walk, jump, strong attack, run, roll, and use skill, what was the most important ones that I want to be able to do? Obviously, attack, like I said, that's always left mouse button. And well, spacebar was the easy one for me. Spacebars always jump in games. I always jump with spacebar. And then the left pinky, the second most important one in this game is guard. But of course, I have the right mouse button, which is run and roll. Now, I was originally going to put space as run and roll and keep the right mouse button as guard. Um, but it's easier for me to press the right mouse button in times of action rather than the shift. And I consider rolling a little more important than guarding. So I prefer this. I'm still kind of getting used to it. But for right now, I prefer that. Now, using skill, because the skills use the FP, the focus points, I don't want to use skills all the time, but I want it available to me at any time while I'm still having my fingers on the movement keys. And while I can jump, while I can guard, I can also use the skill. Boom, boom, boom. Um, so it really made sense putting it on the side mouse button, something not really used most of the time, but available to me at any time. And then a strong attack, my thumb just moving in like this, that's a real easy movement. It's very easy for me to do either one of these, and then I can jump and strong attack, easy enough. Now this with my pinky is a little more of a harder thing. I almost have to rotate my hand. But so far, I really haven't had to walk anywhere in the game. I'm sure maybe there's some areas where you can fall off cliffs, maybe walking a narrow ledge or something like that. Um, so, anyways, I got guard, walk, strong attack, jump, and all these while I'm having my fingers on the move keys. And then the other actions, lock on, yeah, that makes sense. I can move my ring finger up, lock on, back, no problem. Same thing with action. I can, E is normally action on most games, anyways. Use item. I don't want to accidentally use an item. And I normally don't have to have my finger on the move right key to use an item at the same time, but I can shift over, use the item and back. G is map. You can't really change that. It's G by default. Um, and then I put change item, change spell, change left hand, and change right hand on these keys up here. I can, easily, I keep the heel of my hand down here, and I just, move my middle finger up 1, 2, 3, 4. It just made sense to me. Item and spell first, and then left hand, right hand. So yeah, this is the key binding I made. I'm still kind of getting used to it. So I'm gonna go back in the game now. Okay, so yeah, that's really the issue is I'm still getting used to pressing the buttons. Which one do I do for this and strong attacks and jump? Um, now one of the things I've noticed, not only having to get used to how the keys are set up, it does actually work very nice for me as far as any of these things. Now, I just did notice something. If I'm running, if I'm just doing a normal movement forward and I press the walk key, he doesn't walk. So I just learned, okay, I have to press walk first, then walk. Okay, cool. So you can't go from a walk into a walk. Also, curious, run. Yeah, you can't go from, if I'm running and I press the walk key, it doesn't do anything. It just stays running. So to actually walk, you have to press walk first and then walk the direction you want to walk. Okay. Um, like I said, that would probably be a very specific situation. Um, so, uh, having talked about that, let's see the next thing. Um, One thing I do like in this game, that I did notice, if I forget, like, oh, what was that tumble? What was that shield thing? How do I double hand something? Okay, like two handed. Okay, there's one thing. How do I two hand this? How do I two hand the shield? Things like that. How do I switch back to normal? Um, One thing on this game I really do like, you can go to inventory. After going through the tutorial steps of the game, you go over here to this info page, and all these things, whenever I'm looking at something and I press R to examine it, and it shows, like, let's say this, switching out right hand armaments is 4, switching out left hand armaments is 3, E and either shift or left mouse button is wielded with two hands. What I really like is that what this information tab is showing actually reflects the key bindings that I have. So if you guys choose like a different key binding than I have, and you go into this information tab and press R to look at the details here, what it shows here is actually what you have selected as your key bindings. I do like that. Now another thing, so you can see putting something two-handed into your hands, it says E and Shift or left mouse button. So what it's doing is, Shift is normally my shield, so in other words, it's my left hand, and the left mouse button is my normal attack. So if I hold E and do what would be my shield, it makes my shield two-handed. If I do my normal attack, it does not make my sword two-handed because it switches back to normal. But if I press the normal attack again, now my sword is two-handed. Another thing I do want to mention on this, um, not only E and left mouse button will make the sword two-handed, but if I also go from this and I press E and Alt, which is my strong attack, that will also make my sword two-handed. Um, so that's really normally what I use to go from shield and sword to two-handed sword, is just really easily with my left hand, I'll hold down the E button, the E key, and press the Alt key. And that's an easy way for me to switch. Or E and Shift. E and Shift, E and Alt. So, real nice there. All right, okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about, there's a couple things with the shield. One of the things is I got this guy right down here. He has a shield on him, and I just want to show something. Okay, if you go up to a guy that has a shield, and he's using the shield, and you hit him, whoops, excuse me, while he has the shield up. Well, this ain't working out good. Alright, well, it did it. It did it real quick there. And I'm gonna get killed if I keep trying to do that. Alright, well, let me just go kill him anyways. Whoops. So, anyways, I'll talk about what I just did there in a second. So the idea I was trying to show is if you go up to an opponent that has a shield, and I don't think it works on some shields, that might have been the problem with his type of shield. If you do successfully hit it enough times with a normal attack, what it will do is it'll break his pose. He'll kind of like stumble a little bit, and then you can attack him when he has his pose broken. But let me refresh him. I'm gonna refresh him real quick. I'm gonna run over here I'm just gonna rest. I don't need to pass time. I just rest there. Whoops. I just rest. And I go back over. And there he is again. So one of the things you can do, I'm gonna show it right now, seeing I have this guy here, is if I'm holding my shield, and he comes up and he hits my shield, right afterwards I hit strong attack, and then I can hit him again. What that's called is, it's called a guard counter. So what you want to do, just like I did on him, is when you have your shield up, someone hits your shield. As soon as they hit your shield, you counter with a strong attack. Make sure it's a strong attack. And what you'll do is you actually break his pose, is what they call it. There's actually a pose hit bar in the game. To show you something real quick here, if I go to my stats, I can look right here, and I have my pose is 32. And just to let you know, the amount of pose, it's like a certain value that you have. That gets affected with what type of armor I'm wearing. I guess later in the game, there's certain items or spells that you can also affect your pose with. Um, and I have basically like an invisible hit bar of 32 points. If someone hits me with something that would affect my pose, it drops that hit bar down, the pose bar. And once that hits 0, then I get knocked out of my pose and I'm vulnerable to critical attacks, things such as that. So yeah, that's what it does. Guard counter, shield up, he hits the shield, you hit a strong attack. Instead of doing a thrust like that, you could see it made this special noise. It hit upward, knocked him off his pose, and then my next strike was a critical strike, just like going up to someone and sneaking up on them and hitting them in the back, which that's one thing I might as well talk about that. I'm gonna go and sneak over here to this guy. So you crouch down. When you crouch down, just to let you know, you can sprint. You can go a little faster. Now what I can do is I can actually hit my normal attack or my strong attack. So I go up behind him. There's a normal attack. Hit him again. Hit him again. Okay. And it does have different animations. I notice sometimes it like sticks them in the back. Sometimes it just does kind of like a normal, here's a strong attack. You know, the animation's a little different. I guess that would depend. And I'm gonna test out something. Like I said, I'm still learning. So I want to go up to a guy that's not a guy that's walking around, but I'm gonna sneak up. And what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna try my skill. Oh, whoops, I got my sword. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna sneak up behind this guy. And I'm gonna try using this square off skill. Oh yeah, killed him one shot. So actually, I guess you can use either a normal attack or a strong attack or a skill attack when you're sneaking up behind someone, and it'll do a lot more damage. So the next thing, okay, so the next thing, a strong attack. You can press the strong attack button. You can do multiple, 1, 2. Now each attack, and I would assume each weapon, has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, the order 1, 2, 1, 2. So I would assume like each weapon has like a different sequence of attacks. But on the strong attack, instead of just hitting it and hitting again, you can hold, like I'm holding the Alt key down. And if you listen to the sound, and here's just pressing Alt. And then here's holding Alt and then letting go. You can hear it's a lot stronger. Now, not only that, not only can you charge up your strong attack, but you can also, I'm gonna press and hold Alt and then let it go to charge it and release it. Then, as soon as it swings, and as the swing is like just completing, I'm going to press and hold Alt again and then let it go. So 1 and do it again, 2 and do it again, 3 and do it again, 4. So you can do it sequentially. The thing, just like with a lot of stuff on this game that I'm learning, is you just have to kind of learn the timing. You know, how long is it going to take? How long do you wait? When do you press it? You know, things such as that. But you can do charged strong attack and multiple charged strong attacks. Okay, so another type of attack is if you're running forward. Let me show you. Here's my normal attack. And listen, look at the way it goes and the sound. And then here's my strong attack. Now, if I'm running and I do my normal attack, it's the same. Running. Whoops. Running. Not running. So yeah, normal attack while you're running is just a normal attack. But if you're running, here's my strong attack. If you're running and do a strong attack, you can see, you can hear it. It's different. A run, strong attack, it doesn't really make you go forward a lot. But if you notice, if you're kind of watching, my feet are still kind of moving forward as I'm swinging. So it's like a charge in attack. All right, so that's pretty cool. But you can only do it with the strong attack. Now there's another type of attack, which is a jump attack. And you can run jump attack or just jump attack. Now, on the jump attack, whether you're running or not, the jump attack with a normal attack, there's normal, and then jump and normal. See how it swung across? So it is a different attack. Either running, jump normal, or jump normal. Either way, that's different than just a regular normal. And the running, jump, heavy attack, or strong attack is definitely different than the normal strong attack, jump, attack. So, to summarize that once again, run attack, you have just strong. Jump while you're running or not, jump attack, you have normal and strong. Oh, one more thing I do want to bring up on the guard counter. When you have the shield in your hand, you're blocking, he hits. Right after he hits you on your shield, you counter with the strong attack, and instead it comes in from the left and hits under his shield. If a guy with the shield bashes your shield with his shield, the counter attack's not going to work. It actually has to be an attack from his weapon, not a shield bash. All right, so I do want to bring up a side thing that I just figured I'd cover here real quick. Just to use my mouse over here in the screen, you're gonna notice a little icon. A lot of the tutorials and guides that other people do go over this as well. If I go into an area where there's a boss creature, certain caves and all that, like this guy on the horse here, if I'm in a close enough distance to him, like this area here, you can see that that doorway looking thing, like right over in this area. What that does is it allows you to summon, yeah, ashes. They're like the lone wolf ashes. So I can summon them. Oh, and one other thing I did want to cover, I forgot to explain after I get into this. Let me show this real quick. So the lone wolf ashes, I can summon them, and what I'm gonna do, switch to them. I'm gonna wait for him to be walking away because I don't want him real close. I don't want him aggroing them. say you call them in and you have them, and for some reason you want to put them away, you actually can press the use item, the F key on my key setup to put them away, and it'll ask you, are you sure you want to send them back? And you say yes. But if you do that, just to let you see, if you look down here on this area down here where my items are, there's like a cross out in front of them, which means I can't use them until I go to a site of grace, and I rest and leave, and now I can use them again. Obviously, they're grayed out right now. When you go to an area where you can use them, then they get lit up. Okay, so that's cool. Another thing I want to explain is, yeah, these inventory things and the pouch things. Um, so the mechanism of it, that's in a lot of other guide videos. I'm going to assume you pretty much understand. Just real quick, you press escape key, you go here, you can change things that are in your pouch by hovering over that and pressing these keys down here, either switch something or remove it, or you could also use it right from here. Um, it's a little different than your equipment, which goes into these things down here. The difference between the equipment item selection I have here and the pouch selection I have here, what I did is the pouch, I put the heal and the FP regenerate potions, also the ring of summoning for the horse, and the little berry things where you can heal your horse. These kind of things I want accessible to me at any time without having to cycle through my items. These items down here, the way I kind of think about that when I go equipment, um, I wanted this to be first, which for right now is the only one that I would say, oh no, I really got to get to them real quick. Say I get poisoned, I want to cure the poison. Okay, I got these neutralizing boluses. So I want them available really quick anytime I want. But I also can cycle through. I got attack things, throwing daggers and the bombs. These I really don't see a use for. I was finding a lot of those little gems, so I just made 50 of them, whatever. Um, and then, of course, I have my telescope and the lone wolf ashes. It's only a one use per rest, so, okay, whatever. That's not used very often. Um, Now, one thing about the pouch, like I said, I put things up here in these first four that I always want to be able to get to real quick. But one of the weird things is I had to get used to which one do I want to put um, as far as which one is one, which one's two, three, and four. Well, an easy way when I'm loading this, what I want to do on the PC is I go to my inventory, and I kind of showed you guys this earlier already. But I go here and I go down to one where I can kind of see my pouch here, and I press R, and I can see over here. Let me move out that way. Um, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is actually 4, 1, 3, and 2. So 4, 1, 3, 2. 4, 1, 3, 2. 4, 1, 3, and 2. That's actually the order I have them. So if I press E and 1, it's going to drink a potion. E and 2 is going to use the little row of raisins for my horse. E and 3 uses the steed whistle. And E and 4 uses the FP potion. I'm just going to call it. Now, I haven't even designated a charge to the FP potion. I'm just going to have it here for later on in the game. Maybe I'll have one or two so I can do more special moves. The reason I chose that order of things in here, because obviously heal potion is the one I want most easily accessible, which for the way my hand is set up, switching to E1 is about the easiest for me. And then E2, the row of raisins for on my horse is the second easiest. And then using my horse, it's pretty easy to switch to E3, call the horse, and E4 is kind of a difficult one to get to, but I don't think I'll be using the FP potion very often. I also did put these kind of special things up here. Anytime I want, I can hover over them and I can use them. I just don't want them to be accidentally accessed while in the inventory in the item slots. I don't want to accidentally use that until I'm ready to use that. And I obviously don't want to travel home and lose all my points here, um, because I accidentally hit the F key and used it while it was selected to the wrong thing. Um, and then if I press 1, you can see it rotates through my items. Uh, like I said, 2 would be if I had any spells. 3, shield and sword. 4, bow and sword. Okay. One other thing to mention on this though, like let's say I'm on the bomb thing, holy water pot, and I want to quickly, I get poisoned, and remember I mentioned how I have those cure potion things in the very first slot. Well, if I hold down the 1 key, it'll switch to them. See how it turned red? At first it cycled to this because I pressed it, but then after it cycled to that, because I was holding it, like I'm gonna demonstrate again. Here I'm gonna press and hold 1. It'll switch from the daggers to the holy water pot, and then because I'm holding it, it'll switch to the cure things. See, so that first slot, that's kind of an important one. You always want to put something here. I was thinking about putting the daggers, but no, I said, well, if I get poisoned, I want to get to it real quickly, so I put that there. Cure, weapons, kind of junk. Telescope, yeah, and that lone wolf ashes. So that's the reason I set it up the way I did. Okay, so up here, if you notice, I have a bow and I have normal arrows. I bought a whole bunch of them up to the maximum that you can hold because it doesn't count towards my weight once again. And then I made a few flame ones. Yeah, okay, that really depends how many I accidentally shoot off, and there's resources I need to get. The feathers and the flame and all that. But if you notice down here, I also have bolts equipped. I only keep 1. The reason for that is if I unequip the bow, if I unequip the bolt from this inventory slot, and then I go and fight one of these guys, and I happen to find a bolt on them, or like 10 bolts or whatever, it's going to automatically equip the bolt into this slot anyways. So I might as well just leave it there. When I find bolts, I sell all of them except the 1. It won't let me sell that 1 because it's equipped, or it's at the ready is what I like to call it. So I just leave it there, kind of like a marker. Hey, I might as well not unload it because it'll load it as soon as I get 1 anyways. That's the easy way of saying that. So next is the horse. So yeah, I press E and 3. I can easily get on the horse. I love the horse. You get it pretty early game. You can run on the horse. Now, I heard in some videos that you're supposed to be able to double tap the run key and run faster with them, get a little boost of speed. If I'm running on them and I press the run key, you can see it gave me a little boost of speed as soon as I press the key, and then it just goes to running. Now if I go like this, I turn around and I double click the right mouse button, it doesn't give me a boost of speed. It's just switching into normal. You get that little boost at the beginning, just like if I just pressed it normal anyways. I really don't see a double run boost. I just see actually switching to run like this. But there is, when you jump, instead of just jumping, you can double jump. While you're in the air, you jump again, you get this double jump. It sometimes lets you jump higher. Really nice. It lets you jump further, but you can only do it twice. You can do your jump and then a second jump. You can't do 1, 2, 3. No, only 2. So that's a good thing to know. Now, another thing I noticed with the horse, if your horse dies, you can't use them again until you rest. When you rest, then you can use them. Also, if your horse gets damaged too much or too rapidly, I'm not sure the details on that, but I do know if you get too much damage on your horse, it'll knock you off of your horse. And also, like I said, if I press E, you can see the row of berry things there, the raisins or whatever they are. If he gets damaged, I can feed him the raisins to help his health. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up and let one of these guys beat on me, just to damage the horse. And what I noticed is, maybe like 2 hits. 1, 2. Now, did you see that the horse's hit bar did come up temporarily? But the problem is, if, like, say I run away until he stops chasing me. Okay. Right now I can see at the top left of my screen up here, I can see my hit bar, but I can't see my horse's hit bar. I have no idea. How many hit points does my horse have? If there's any way of displaying that someone knows, please let me know. But after my horse does get hit, I do like to, I'll go ahead and give him the berries, which is E and 2. He eats the berries. I don't know if he's healed. I can't even see his hit bar. I would assume it does. Um, he takes a few hits, and yeah, I'll just feed him a raisin or two, just to keep him from dying. While I'm on my horse, I can drink my potion. Now, one thing about drinking potions and other items, another thing I want to talk about is if I hold E and instead of pressing 1 just one time, I want to press it twice. Uh, if I hold E and I go click click on 1, it'll only drink my potion one time. But if I time it right, I'm holding E and I go 1 and 1 again, it'll double chug like that. But it does have to be proper timing because whoops, let me go in here and rest so I can get my potions back. Just to show you, I'm gonna hold E and I'm gonna press 1 twice. And it only drank it once. It did not drink it twice. So you can actually accidentally press like the heal potion key too quickly and it will not double drink that heal. So you have to kind of learn the timing. Now, when I heard about this, when I learned it, I was like, well, does that work with other things? Some things it does, and some things it doesn't. So like if I was using the daggers, I'm not going to waste my daggers because they do cost a little bit. But if I have my daggers equipped and I press the F key, like pressed it a whole bunch of times real quick, it does throw the daggers like sequentially really quick, quicker than double chugging the potion. Um, so it really depends on what item you're using. Some items you can use them rapidly in succession, but the timing between uses depends on the item. That's something I'm still learning. I don't know exactly all the timing on different things. That's just part of me learning this game is what timing different things have. Okay, so another thing to talk about on the horse. Um, when you're on the horse, if you press for me with my keyboard setup, keyboard and mouse, my left mouse button does my normal attack. On the horse, it will do a normal attack to the side, and instead of being a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, instead on the horse it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it is like the normal attack is a different sequence, but it is a predictable 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then strong attack 1, 2. Now notice on the horse the strong attack attacks once and twice. So if I'm running past something and I hit strong attack, I can hit once and twice. Okay, once, twice, once, twice, once, twice. There's just a single animation for that. It doesn't go into anything else if I sequentially do the strong attack. So I have that. Now, normally my shift key uses my shield, But when you're on the horse, the shift key, my left hand, basically you can think of it like, holding down shift is my left hand. Well, when I'm on the horse, if I press shift, it does a normal attack. Okay, there we go. I had to disable all those accessibility functions. So yeah, once again, 1, 2, 3 on that side, and then shift, 1, 2, 3, same kind of sequence, but on the left side. Now, like I said, I can press strong attack. I can also use my skill key, which is on my mouse. It's the side mouse button. And because I'm on the horse, it'll do the strong attack, but on the left. Now, also, not only this, rather than having the 1, 2, if I hold down the strong attack, I can do just like charging when I'm off the horse, where I charge my attack and then attack, rather than just instantly. But one thing to notice on these strong attack charges, when I charge my strong attack, I'm holding the Alt key down right now and I'm not letting it go. It does charge it, but as soon as it's charged, it does strike. So you can't stand back somewhere and charge it and have it at the ready and then use it when you want. Excuse me. Not like the skill one. Let's see, the skill, you can do that. You can have this ready. If I press my side mouse button, I got that skill ready. And this is another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit later. But I can have this at the ready, and then I can let it go. I wish the strong attack was the same way, but it's not. You can kind of pause. It just charges it up. It pauses it for a little bit, and you can do it multiple times. Well, the same deal goes on the horse. You can charge your strong attack and then hit. Now, it does just do a single hit rather than a 1, 2. But if I'm holding it down like this and I run past things, as I run past things, it's going to be hitting. It like almost does a sweep against things. So it's pretty cool. And of course, like I said, the skill, you can do the same thing on that side. You can do multiple, but there's only one strong attack on the horse, but you can repeat it multiple times on either side. So, let's see, next. Okay, so notice, like I said, I can attack on this side, I can strong attack on that side, I can attack on this side, I can strong attack on this side. What about my shield? Can't I use my shield? I mean, it's on my back. I have it equipped and at the ready. And actually the answer is yes, you can use your shield. And the attack with the shield, hold on, I just did it. There we go. So you can run around. Okay, so with the shield, hold on, let me learn it. All right, so it's kind of the same as the attack, strong attack. If I press the left mouse button, which is my normal attack, what it's going to do is it's going to do this thing. It's going to do like almost like a parry. It's going to attack with the shield. And same if I use the shift, which would normally be my guard key, it'll attack on that side with the shield. It'll kind of bump down. But if I do the strong attack, this is what it does, and then it hits. So it does block, and if I hold strong attack, let go, strong attack, let go, strong attack, let go, I can actually use my shield. I just can't permanently hold it because it'll eventually hit. Same thing, skill on that side holds the shield. So, and in the same way, the way that you get this shield into your hands when you're on the horse is you actually press the E and any of the keys to hold something two-handed. So I can press E and left mouse button, which would normally two-hand my sword. Instead, it goes from the sword to the shield. Or I can hold E and the shift, which would normally two-hand my shield, and it'll go from the sword to the shield. So either one of the two-hand commands will switch out the weapon or item that you have in your right hand while you're holding the stirrups with your left hand. Now, also, just to let you know, whoops, excuse me, if I have my torch ready, that means I can have the torch up on the horse. I can do strong attacks with it. I can either press the strong attack or I can hold the strong attack. I can do a swipe on the left or right. So there's a lot of things. I'm getting used to all that. Now, the one thing I noticed is you can't hold your torch up, because that's just like how I can't use my shield while I'm riding the sword. Well, I can't hold my torch up while I'm riding the horse either. So, you know, a little bit of things to get used to. If I have my torch equipped and I press 3, which would change my left-hand item, instead of switching from the torch to the shield, it switches the torch to the sword. So it's kind of odd getting used to how things are set. Okay, and I'm back to that. Just so you guys can see a little easier, I'm going to switch this to daytime. Actually, it looks like it's lighting up anyways, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now, that's one thing in the game I haven't figured out yet. I don't see any way of finding it. I'd like to know what time of day it is. Oh, I do know how. Okay. You can go here, rest, click. Yeah, or actually, you don't even have to click past time. It shows you right here. It just says night. I don't know what time at night. It's just nighttime. Okay, whatever. Daytime, nighttime. I wish there was like a key you could press or something, and it would bring up that little daytime, nighttime wheel thing that it shows when you're passing time. Okay, so another thing to bring up, on these special attacks, let me show you something here real quick. If I go into my inventory and I go to my sword, the skill, I should say. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press R here to switch display, like this. And in this detailed display, it says down here, the skill square off. The skill starts with the sword held high level, follow up with a normal attack to slash upward through an enemy's guard, or a strong attack to perform a running thrust. So I can see doing this, I can either do a normal attack or a strong attack when I have the sword held level. So I'm going to go out of this. I'm going to hold the, whoops, excuse me, two-handed to use it. Just to let you know, some people may not know this. If you have an item in your left hand, either the shield or the torch, you can see left of my character it says torch attack, and then it says parry. The item in your left hand is what's going to do your skill. Torch, you know, like that. Now, if I have an item in my right hand, excuse me, if I two-hand the shield, you can see it's still parry. But notice it goes to the right rather than to the left. So it's a little bit of a difference. If I put the torch in my hand, forward attack with the torch. I two-hand the torch, forward and kind of to the left instead. So it does change it a little bit. But if I two-hand my right-hand item, then the right-hand item's skill is the one that becomes active. So you can see over on the left it says square off. So I use the skill, and when I press the the side mouse button, which is what I have it set off on, I can move around with it, yeah. And it's at the ready. If I let the side mouse button go, it just releases it. And then if I press normal attack, like that, I press strong attack, and it does like that. It actually runs forward a little bit and then up. Now, okay, so you cannot do it. If I want to do 2 in a row, let's say I do a normal attack, and then I press the side button, I can do it sequentially. I just have to learn the timing. Okay, so yeah, it's just timing. You can do it sequentially. You just have to wait for the right timing. But one thing about this is to change the skill on an item, you do get in the game, you get these ashes of war. So like, let's say I want to put an ash of war on my sword, and I'm going to use the storm stomp. Now that's one thing to show you real quick too, actually. Let me go back out of here. If I look at my inventory, I want to show you something here real quick. I look at my inventory, and on the ashes of war, I actually have two. I have the storm stomp and I have stamp. But if you notice, there we go. Um, when I'm looking at this one, stamp, usable on swords, axes, and hammers, it says small and medium swords accepted. Um, and they're using an E rather than an A, so I think they mean it doesn't include small and medium swords. It should say small and medium swords not included or something like that, not accepted, because then you're going to think it's like with an A, that it's accepted, not exception, you know. But anyways, some ashes of war can only be used on certain items, while other ones, like this one, are usable on all melee armaments. Okay. Now, if I look at this, you can see. Okay, I have to do the R. Ash of War grants an armament to the quality affinity of following skills: Storm Stomp. One of the skills channel Storm Veil, Storm Stomp on the ground to kick up a momentary storm usable on all melee armaments. Notice it doesn't say anything about normal attack or strong attack. Um, if I have this on my sword, and I activate my skill with the side mouse button, it's going to do this storm stomp, and that's it. It doesn't charge it, it doesn't hold it, it doesn't use a normal attack afterwards or a strong attack. So different ones. See, like this one, the Ashes of War Stamp Sweep. This Ash of War grants an armament the heavy affinity and the following skills: Stamp Sweep, brace armament and step into a low stance that prevents recoil from most enemy attacks. Follow up with a strong attack for a sweeping strike. So I would assume on this one, if I'm in that low stance and I follow up with a normal attack, it's just going to be a regular normal attack. It actually has to be the strong attack to get that sweeping strike. So different Ashes of War have different effects. They work different based on whether you want to use a normal attack, strong attack afterwards. You do have different combinations of actions that you have to do for different results from different Ashes of War. Also, just to show you another thing, if I equip the Ashes of War, and one other thing I want to talk about on this as well, to the sword, this Storm Stomp, I click this and it says standard or quality. Well, what you want to do is you want to look over here and see kind of what it's doing. The standard and quality, a lot of people are going to think that quality means it's a better selection. It doesn't really work that way. What it's doing here is this sword normally has a D rating on the scaling for strength and a D rating for dexterity. But let's say it had like a B rating for strength and only a D for dexterity. It'd be more of a strength weapon. Um, if I choose quality, what it's going to do there is it's going to change to where the strength and dexterity are more balanced out. And you can see here, if I choose standard, it's still just D. And what it's going to actually do is the standard just gives me basically the stomp ability. It doesn't change anything here other than the cost of what it costs me to do that skill, where the one I have right now doesn't cost anything on FP skill. This one would, but the FP cost on the one I have now has a normal and strong attack, 6 and 8, This one just does the Storm Stomp. It doesn't have a normal and strong attack, so you see 6 and normal and strong. Getting used to all this stuff is something I'm learning. Like over here, this guarded damage negation, you have two numbers. Well, not here, but I'll show you elsewhere. The quality, you can see the physical attack is going to go down. I actually produce less value from the normal points of damage from the weapon, but because the scaling gets better, the bonus damage actually goes up. Um, but if you look at that, 150, 165, 152, oh, it's going from 165 to 152. It's actually going down on damage if I choose quality, whereas standard stays the 155. So I would definitely want to choose standard. Now, when I choose standard, you can see right here, it comes up with the little icon, shows me that has Ashes of War attached to it. One thing that I also wanted to show real quick, and you can see it here as well by the sword. Um, if I go in my inventory and I look at the sword, and whoops, excuse me, I just hover over it, press R. On the right hand side is still Storm Stomp, or excuse me. Okay, I thought that was different. I thought you could go in here and look at the normal. It actually does reflect the one that's just used right now. So I'm gonna unequip that. I actually like that other one without the. I guess as far as this, it would really depend on different situations. Undo enhancement. There you go. Um, it depends on the different situations which one I want to use. So simple as that. Okay, so I was talking on the stats. There was one thing that I'm still kind of trying to get used to on stats. Um, as far as all this, this is pretty straightforward. Runes held, how many runes to get to my next level. A lot of videos I see out there explain this stuff out. Vigor, basically hit points. Mind has to do with spell casting. Endurance is basically your load. Strength is basically damage. Dexterity is basically tumbling, obviously, and some weapons scale by different stats. Intelligence, again, another spell casting. Faith and arcane, more like a clerical type thing, is how I look at it. You got your hit points, your focus points, basically hit points and mana and stamina. Equipment load, the pose, I kind of went over that. Discovery, when you find items, has to do with, I think, arcane. Memory slots, I have two, even though I don't cast spells. Um, Attack power, I can see from my right hand, I have sword and bow is what's at the ready. So here's my sword and here's my bow, and here's, I guess, if I just punch someone. And then the left hand, I have the shield and the torch. Actually, odd that the torch is just as strong as the sword, and the bow's even stronger, but that's okay, that's what it says. Down here, I've been trying to understand these two. The reason it has two numbers, I think basically what this is, when you level up, if you change your stats that affect the defense, your defense number is going to go up. And then this number over here is actually the damage negation. I think this is like a percentage, whereas this is like a value. So from my current level and stats, I have 88 physical defense, which gives me 26.107% damage negation against physical. I think that's the way that works. And notice I have 88 physical and 88 of this and 88 of that and 88 of this, but these numbers over here are different. So, and then like here, I have 99 on magic, but I only got 20% damage negation. So these numbers don't scale the same to these numbers, the actual percentage of what it does. So that's okay. That's something I'm getting used to. And the same thing over here, resistance. I'm thinking like immunity to like poisons and stuff, I guess. Maybe cold weather. The actual value is 176, which gets affected by my stats. And that 176 value is producing an 81% negation from things like cold. So, like robustness, see, this is where it doesn't make sense to me. So, my robustness is 228, so I have 133% negation from cold. What would does that mean? I heal when I'm in the cold? I don't understand that. Um, so yeah, the stats. I'm still trying to get used to that. Um, Same thing on items. You go to weapons, and there's a lot of numbers here. But basically, to go over it real quick, if for people that don't understand, I got the type of weapon. Here's magic. Whether it's a plus one, two, three, four, five, whatever it is. Um, Straight sword. So it's a long sword, but it's a straight sword. So I guess this would be kind of like a grouping of weapons. What type, like axe or club or straight sword or well, not long sword, but there'd be spears and things like that. Standard and pierce shows like what types of attacks this does, because some monsters may be invulnerable to piercing attacks or more vulnerable to piercing attacks. So some of the attacks with this straight longsword does pierce attacks. Here's the special ability. I would guess it shows just the one that you currently have. Of course, that weight, like I said, is only if you have it actually at the ready, not just in your inventory. On attack power, the first number shows like the normal damage that you're going to do based on what type of weapon it is, whether it's plus one, two, or three, or whatever, and your strength and all that. And then the second number is how much you get from the scaling, what grade it gets on scaling, in combination with your actual stats. My strength is 21, my dexterity is 13. From 21 strength, dexterity 13, a D on strength, and a D on dexterity. All of that combined gives me 36 extra points on each attack. And then the 100 is when I hit a critical attack, it adds that on top of that damage. Um, Passive effects, there's none on this. Guarded damage. So you can see if I use the sword to, like a shield, if I guard with it, it's only providing 45%. It's not going to block the whole physical attack. It does block some of it. So, yeah. Guard boost, I'm not really sure because they show the damage negation here. So this is when I'm guarding with it. It negates this much damage. So what is this 30 guard boost? I don't know what that means. Um, Attributes required. It shows what you need to use it. And then this is really more my character stats over here. And just I wanted to mention one thing I did see in another video. Um, it's kind of weird that I keep reading videos and they say, oh, if you're running, if you're tumbling, jumping, jump, tumble, swing, strong attack, jump. Um, Notice one thing, my stamina is not going down one bit. I'm running, tumbling, tumble. Okay. Really, tumble uses stamina? Oh, it doesn't seem like it to me. I don't know why. It's kind of funny. I wanted to go over some things on stamina, and I can't even purposely make my character lose stamina. Okay. Stamina not going down any. Tumble, tumble, run and tumble, jump and run, jump, tumble, and my stamina don't go down. I don't understand why I cannot make my stamina go down. But the one point I wanted to bring up, I did hear that if your stamina does go down, and say you're using a shield, or I'm using my sword as my shield because I have it two-handed, um, or like my stamina goes down and I'm running, or my stamina goes down and I'm tumbling, whatever it is, um, if you're actively doing things, your stamina regain rate is going to be slower than if you just stand still and don't do anything. So if your stamina does happen to go down, which the only time I've seen it so far is if I'm getting hit by other enemies, not actually when I'm doing things. Um, but yeah, if your stamina goes down and it's kind of low to where you can't tumble or whatever, um, just just backspace a couple times and run away or whatever it is, find a safe spot and stop. Just completely stop for a second, and your stamina will regain quickly, and then you can go back in. Another thing I noticed, when you're crouched down, if you do anything like normal attack or strong attack or jump, or I also noticed, let me run up here real quick. If you're like up on a rock, let's say I'm crouched down here, and I go down a little bit, notice it makes me uncrouch. You can only stay crouched down on a very low... Oh, well, that's one thing I just learned. You can not back jump, but you can tumble and stay crouched. Oh, that's nice to know. I didn't know that. And you can go a small distance down and stay crouched. So you can tumble, you can run, kind of move a little faster, and you can go off of a little bit of a fall. But as soon as you try to go off something that's like this, which that's, it's not that high, it's maybe head height, maybe, and boom, I come out of the crouch. So be careful when you're trying to sneak up on someone. Make sure you don't drop down, anything that's like around head height or higher. Don't try to jump. Don't try to do anything like that. Of course, like I just learned, I guess you can tumble up to them. Or you can, move a little faster if you crouch and press the run key. Yeah, you can go a little faster. So, some things you can do, and some you can't while you're crouched. And then the last thing I'm going to go over is there are a couple things on the map. If I press G to bring up the map, one thing I'm used to in a game, say I zoom in and I want to move this map around, what I'm used to is pressing and holding the left mouse button and then moving the mouse. Unfortunately, in this game, pressing the left mouse button on the map doesn't do a single thing. So if you want to move where this center focus point, I'm going to say, is, and notice this focus point, which is where I'm standing, it has this little line through it and it sticks out a little further this way. I believe that's actually showing which way I'm facing. I wonder if it's just camera or the way my character's facing. It's the way my character's facing. Whoops. Not the way the camera's facing. So if I face southwards like this, okay, I open up the map and I can see I'm facing southwards. Oh, okay. So if I want to move this cursor, like I'm zoomed in and I want to look up here, what you do is you use the W, S, A, and D key, your movement keys. Obviously, the further that you scroll out with your mouse scroll wheel, the faster that's going to move around with the W, S, A, and D. You zoom in, and it moves a lot, it pans a lot slower with you zoomed in. Now there is down, it doesn't even show it down here, which is why I'm going to show this next thing. You can see down here, E would place a beacon. If I press E, it's going to place a beacon where this focus point is. Not where I am, which is this icon, but where this focus target thing is, the target, I'll call it. Or I could place a marker, so a beacon or a marker where the target is. I can open up the list of sites of grace. I can zoom in and out. But I can also right-click with the mouse button, and that will bring up a menu, which I can also click. I can left-click place beacon. I can left-click close. I can left-click marker, sites of grace. I can also, anytime I'm in the map or through the right mouse button option, through the context menu that comes up, I can click on this and it'll center to my character. Or, like I said, even without the right context menu up, I can just press T, and that still works. It goes to my character. Now, if I open up this list of sites of grace, I can use the up and down arrow key and it will cycle between them and it'll change that target to that site of grace. You can see all the sites of grace and it targets to them. I can back out of that. Um, let's see, I'm standing here. So what I'm going to do, the top of this little hill that's right next to me, I'm going to place a beacon. And then right in front of me, I'm going to place another beacon. And you can see there's a little 1 right next to the beacon. I'm going to place another beacon here. And you see there's a little 2. Exit out of this. And if you look at the top, you can see there's beacon 1. And it should be visible to me. Oh, yeah, I see it right over there. See that little beam of light right there? And up at the top on my compass thing, I can see it. And then over here, here's 2. I can also see that one. They're same color, they're blue. You just have to look at the top. Here's 2, here's 1. Okay. On these beacons, I kind of placed them pretty close to show you one thing, that if I run over it, it should, yeah, it makes the beacon disappear. So running over a beacon is an easy way to say, yeah, I've reached my waypoint, my beacon, whatever you want to call it. Or I actually have to bring the target up there. And if you notice down here, it switches from place beacon to remove beacon. Okay. There's also markers. Now on the markers, you can see there's some markings on the map here. Pretty straightforward. If you went through the tutorial, if you're kind of learning the game, you should pick up on that pretty quickly. They have, like I said, in other guide videos, I've seen people go over it. You have the sites of grace, the ones that actually have the little pieces pointing you in the direction you need to go. You can see the little flames, like which way it's pointing you to go. So just like this one in the church, I can see, okay, the main storyline, it's wanting me to go that way. Okay, so that's also on my map. Yeah, it wants me to go that way, which is actually going up here towards this, the gate front. So on the markers, if I set a marker out here, I'm just going to put it like, let's say right outside the church. I press R, marker. It gives you a couple options which markers you want to do. What I would really recommend is that you write down somewhere to keep track and to remember a different meaning for these. And you don't really have to use all of them. But I've already kind of figured out what I'm going to use most of them for. There's actually the tree and the house are the only 2 I haven't figured out a use for yet. But eventually I might. So what I'm doing on my game, I use the sword for like a strong area. Just like this one, the Stormfront Catacombs. I hate those little imps. Even though I'm kind of strong, I got a +3 sword, I've leveled up some. I just hate the way the imps are. I have a hard time getting past the imps. I don't like the flame trap. I've just said, okay, that's a tough area. I did this one over here at the Gatefront Ruins. I was able to kill the boss in the Groveside Cave using my wolves. So I've already passed them, so I don't have any kind of markings on them. But this one over here, the Limgrave Tunnels, that's a little bit strong for me as well. So yeah, that's what that stands for. Then I have the next one is a skull, just like this guy that rides on the horse out here. He's too strong. Now notice it highlights this. That lets me remove it or add it. Okay, make sure to remove a marker. You kind of go over it, and it'll, if I move my mouse up here, it'll show. Now, why it has this animal selected, I would assume if I click it, it's actually going to unselect an animal somewhere. I think I thought I only put one. Let me see something here. Oh, I see what it is. So if I bring my mouse down like over the plant and then bring it up, well, now the plant's selected. Unless I go over something like the sword. Oh, very odd. Oh, what you got to really be careful of is how it changes down here in the bottom left. Um, when I'm just out somewhere, if I hover over one of these, you can see it says set marker. If I actually hover over a marker and I, instead of going over one of these, I actually go on like this one's a sword, I go on the sword. Well, now it says remove marker. So you do have to kind of watch this bottom left before you click on any kind of marker. But anyways, I'm using sword for too strong of an area. I'm using skull for too strong of a boss. I've assigned this humanoid thing to, like, if there's an NPC that's real important. Like, let's say I want to, um, like, let's say I was up here, north of the telescope, like right about in here. If I wouldn't have talked to uh, the demi-human Bach, if I wouldn't have talked to him, he would be up here in tree form, and I would use this humanoid thing right here to say, hey, there's a guy here I want to go see. This animal thing is either too strong of an animal for me to deal with right now, or like a special animal that maybe I want to avoid, or I need to go see, or some type of creature, some type of NPC, some type of creature that holds interest or is too strong, like the dragon right down here. When I went to this um, Limgrave Tunnels, I went around this little cliff and down this way. I got to about here, and this big dragon landed, took out a bunch of zombie guys over here. And yeah, I ain't messing with the dragon. Um, the plants, um, I don't have any placed on the map right now, plants, but what I figure that's going to be is if I find a place that does spawn some certain type of crafting material, I'm going to use a plant to mark, hey, this is where I get that crafting material from. Um, the gems, that's for where the like NPC merchants are. That's for the merchants. There's one here, Merchant Kale. There's also another one here. Yeah, Nomadic Merchant. Now, notice on these markers, I don't put them right on. I don't like putting them like up here. If I put one right here, well, it's right on top of the thing. I don't like that. I want it kind of off to the side. Same thing with all of these. I put them off to the side, over here, off to the side. That way I can see all the different things. Like this, I got the coastal cave, I can see it. I got the demi-human Bach, I can see him, and I got a flag, which is I'm going to get to in a second. The chest, obviously, if there's something like, let's say, I wouldn't have succeeded in the Gatefront ruins, I would put a chest, maybe about right about there. Um, Something like that. It's some kind of item that I want to get. I was thinking about putting a chest over here. There's a one of those roly guys I want to definitely kill there. Maybe here. Whatever. If there's something it's real important for me to get, I'll use that. Um, and then the last one that I've already assigned like a meaning for is the flag is actually probably the most important one for me. That means like I said at the very beginning of this game, what I do is I farm the area, I level up, I get used to it, and then I have um like like at a certain point in the game, I had this cave over here, I had that cave over there, and I had this over here, and basically those were my three options. So I would have a flag here, a flag here, and a flag here. It's kind of like these are my optional things. Well, I know this one's too strong, and I know this one's too strong, but I haven't checked out this gate front, which is what the flames are pointing to. So that is definitely a point of interest, is the gate front. And I also know another one that I have not tried is the coastal cave. In fact, that's the next area I want to go in, is the coastal cave. And I don't know if I did or not. Yeah, I don't know if I really ought to go over here, but I'm going to put a flag there. I'm going to say maybe I can go this way, or I can go that way, or I can go down here, or I can level up some more, and I can retry where I have the sword, and maybe I can try this boss guy. So it just kind of shows me, where I'm at. Now, there is another thing, beyond markers. I'm gonna press Q to go back. Not only do you have markers, but these um sites of grace that are important to me in the game progression so far. There's also another thing you can do when you bring up sites of grace. You can right click on one of these and you can mark the site of grace. And what that does is you can see on this list only a few of them have these little stars next to them, and that's the ones that are important to me. Um, this one here, that's not really important. It's just kind of out in the middle of the field. Like I said, okay, I'm not really that interested. The first step, no. Stranded graveyard, no. But I got the tunnels, I got the coastal cave, I got the catacombs, I got gatefront, and of course this is where my NPC, at the Church of Hela. That's an important one for me. While I'm in this menu, if I press F again, there we go. It brings up just a shortened list of the marked sites of grace. So, the map, I'm learning it. It does come in real handy. Um, Whoops, I keep pressing G, thinking G will get me out of the map. Instead, it opens up the help. To get out of the map is Q. Kind of odd there. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention on that, I forgot to. Like I said, you can move around. You can right click and center on current location. And then when you bring up this list and you use the up and down arrow key, notice it does change the center target to where that site of grace is. So another easy way to move around the map. If you want to get to a certain area on the map, you find the site of grace, and pow, there I am at the Cave of Knowledge, or whatever one you want to choose. So yeah, scroll in, scroll out. I just really wish I could left click and move the mouse and scroll the map, but Oh, I'm always learning on this game. It's a huge game. Here we go, early day, and it actually shows the day wheel. It shows me what time of day it is on this little day wheel. I never noticed that. It's in the map. Alright, that's cool. Alright, well, oops, again. Okay, well, that's pretty much everything I can think of that I've learned. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this game. I do have to get used to it, the timing, the movement. It looks beautiful. I love the way it plays. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Right now, I wish I could use my scroll. The scroll wheel on my mouse doesn't do anything. I wish I could kind of scroll in and out. I can't. Okay. Kind of odd. I'm in camera view, but I can't scroll in and out. Um, but anyways, yeah, I like it. I'm getting used to it. Um, like I said at the beginning, I'm just farming one area a lot until I do get used to it. I think the caves down there where Bach are probably my next opportunity. If I go down there, I try them, they're too strong, I die. I'll just run around the area a little more, get some more money, level up a couple more times, and see what I can do. Um, and I just keep picking at different optional pathways, is how I say it. I really don't want to run past the pathways I have to try to get to something more end game, just so I can pass the beginning game. So that's the way it is. Um, if you guys like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And please subscribe if you haven't. Normally, I made this channel for Ark videos. I play Ark Survival Evolved. I've been playing it for 6 years now. I put a little over 11,000 hours into that game. Um, this game, Elden Ring, is definitely not replacing Ark, and I will be making more Ark videos, but I'll be making more Elden Ring videos as well. It's just really, this is kind of my pastime game when I'm offline. Obviously, like I said, I still have to be online so I can have Steam be online, but this is like an offline type game that I just play whenever I want to, whenever I get a little bit of time to. Whereas Ark is more of a real, um, it's the online game that has a life to it. Where this is one of those games that, oh, it saves it and I can quit and continue anytime I want. If I die, I really don't lose anything other than a little bit of money. Whereas Ark is totally different. If I die on Ark, I can lose a lot of things, a lot of time, dinosaurs and equipment and stuff like that. It's just totally different game. This game, I can't build things, I can't tame creatures. I can press this to get on my horse anytime I want, but I can't get off of him. I can't pet him. I can't feed him. When I get off of him, he just disappears. It's like a ghost horse. It reminds me of when I used to play Ultima Online. um, but yeah, it's a cool game. I'm loving it so far. Hope you guys love it too. If there's anything I kind of forgot as far as different types of attacks and moves and stuff like that, or any other kind of comment, please let me know. Oh, and one other thing, I just seen it. I do want to remember to bring this up as well. If you noticed at the very top, there actually is, you can see markers on the top as well. I can see this, which I guess that would be, I don't know if that's the one outside here. Oh yeah, yeah, because I can see it shifting. So it would be the one I placed about right here, just outside. And as I get closer, I can see, oh, there's the boss. Oh, there's a guy here. So the marker I put for merchants, I can see it here, the diamond. But when I look down there, I don't see the other diamond. So they're just when you get close to things, the marker will actually show up. So like if I run over here, I get close to the catacombs, it's not going to put a beam of light, but as I get close to the catacombs over here, I get close to the catacombs and it puts the sword up. So it does show markers, and I can see from this, I can see the distance. I know it's right over kind of there. It's right behind that rock cliff. So it's a pretty good distance. I get a good feeling for how far of a distance. Um, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave comments. Come back, check out whatever other videos I make, and have a good one.